The opinions expressed in this show are the views of the host and not necessarily that of WTRW, 94.3 The Talker, or the Bold Gold Media Group.
The following presentation is paid for by Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, who is solely responsible for its content. Portions transcribed.
All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
This is the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Good morning. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with Pat Devaney, my husband, Phil, realtor. Good morning.
Good morning, Jackie.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. We have with us, second week in a row, Rob Fullwood, service technician with Knights Well Drilling. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming back.
No problem.
We appreciate you. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m., where we review many topics as they relate to real estate and homes. We've been appraising, listing, and selling real estate for over 50 years.
During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com. Or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you go to jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab and see what's going on at Dunmore Corners.
Look us up on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest. View our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly jruddy.com, jruddy.com. Okay, Rob Fullwood, service technician with Knights Well Drilling. Who are you and what do you do, please? And who is Knights Well Drilling?
So at Knight Well Drilling, we do residential and commercial well drilling. We do water filtration. We do pump repair, replacement. Basically the whole gamut of well water we take care of.
All right. And you even do filtration systems for homeowners that are on public systems,
Yes,
correct?
we can filter public water.
Very good. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about on this show was how important is regular maintenance for a well? What should homeowners do to ensure that their well functions properly?
So it's a pretty common question I get is, what can I do? Do I do yearly maintenance on the well? And I tell people, it's not like a furnace. Unfortunately, there's not a lot to do. A lot of times they work or they don't work. What I tell people to do is look for signs of issues. Anything out of the ordinary. If your water was crystal clear before and now it's a little cloudy, dirty, those are all signs you have an issue. Water pressure fluctuations, that's a big one. That'll indicate that the tank might be compromised, it might be bad, it needs to be replaced. So as far as routine maintenance, there's not a lot to do, just mindfulness about your water if it changes, anything like that.
Well, I could say if I was on well water, which I'm not, I would want to ensure that my well never went dry or that I was never without water. So, and if a well pump goes, I'm not going to get water, correct?
That is correct.
So there's nothing I can do to make sure that that well pump never, ever goes out.
We have a few people that do preventative maintenance every 10 years are calling us to change a well pump, but there's not a lot to do with them. They're hundreds of feet down a lot of times in the ground. We can pull it up, we can look at it, and it is what it is. There's not a lot of testing you can do and say that you have X amount of time left. There's no replacement parts on them that we can say it's time to change a filter or like your furnace with an oil filter or your injectors on the furnace. You don't have those things with a well system. You have a pump in the ground, the pump works or it doesn't work. If you notice issues like your water spurts or spits at you, give us a call. Those are indications that there's an issue and time to look at it. But up until that point, they typically just work very well. They're simple systems. They work very reliably. They've been using the same equipment for 50, 60 years because it works. It works very good. But if your breaker's tripping and you're going down and resetting the breaker, a lot of people say, they call and say, well, I've been resetting the breaker for the last month. Well,
maybe that's a problem.
Breakers don't trip for no reason. Usually there's a problem. And a lot of times they will work intermittently. But 90% of the time when a well pump goes, it goes. You don't have those warning signs of intermittent water, but
this is
sometimes
amazing to me because I'll tell you what, I'm sitting here thinking about my copier machine at the office, and it's programmed after so many copies that you have to change certain rollers, you have to put in a drum unit. It's almost like it has this counter inside of it.
It does.
Okay. So then when inspectors, property and home inspectors do an inspection of a property, some will say that the useful life of the water heater or the boiler or the furnace has gone beyond its normal life
Lifetime,
expectancy, or that the roof is going to only have another 1 year and 2 days left in it. So like, this is amazing to me. So there's no alarm system or noise or anything or like the pump actually making a weird noise.
But you
There's
wouldn't
nothing.
hear it. It's so far away.
Right. It's so far
hear it.
down. You're right.
Yep.
Okay.
There's really not. They work or they don't work.
All right.
All right. So
it is
me,
that
as a
simple.
homeowner, say the pump goes, can I change the pump? And I know the answer. So go ahead. It depends.
The answer is absolutely. It depends. You really should know some parameters before you take on a task like that. We have wells in our area that they range from 100 feet deep to some of them are 700, 800, 1,000 feet deep. And the material that it's on, that the pumps are suspended from, changes everything. I mean, 100-foot well pump is much lighter than a pump that's in 700 or 800 feet. And when you pull it out and things go to the bottom, things get bad quick. But
then some pumps are in basements too. So it depends on the system.
Yes, it depends on the system. They do have jet pumps that are in the basement. We typically don't work on them too much. They can be finicky and kind of an older type of system. Or some people do use them still, but we typically deal with mostly submersible pumps that are in the well itself.
The system I'm thinking of is really, really, really old. So
yeah, some of those jet pumps are extremely old.
I have an idea.
Sure.
What about a backup pump?
But he just said, how could you change it? I mean, I can't change it. It's 100 feet down.
Not you, them. Like you would have
buy a backup pump and have it in the house?
No, have it. So I guess.
Have two pumps.
Yes, exactly. So that when one goes, you have the backup that just automatically goes.
But a well pump typically lasts for 10, 15 years. So you're going to buy two pumps and one will sit.
Right,
used.
but have it all in there, and like that sort of thing. Backup.
I can say for our company that when we get a phone call, typically, especially out of water situations, we consider emergencies, and we try to be as good as we can with same day service.
Okay.
We leave time almost every single day for those situations.
Oh, all right.
And they take precedence over a lot. 'Cause
Okay.
people need water. They have various reasons they need water, medical issues. So we try to accommodate those customers first and foremost. And that's why it's tough to schedule things in what we do because we want to leave the time for those customers.
I'm all about backup.
Yeah, I could see that. Now, if the electricity goes out, I have no water? Or can I
have no water.
So what's the best thing to do in that situation?
We usually recommend a generator at that point.
Okay. Backup generator.
They do have hand pumps. They still produce them. They go on top of your well. The problem is they're very expensive. We do have a couple customers that insist on them, but for the price of a generator, you're maybe half of that to put a well or a hand pump in.
Okay.
So, and generators also allow you to run other components of your house as well. You can have your refrigerator, your TV, and more than just water.
I can have my water and I won't be sitting in the dark.
There you go.
Yeah, we were without power a couple weeks ago, and
A guy hit a pole.
Yeah, someone hit a pole up the block from us, and so it was a couple hours. Yeah, it was terrifying for some of the older neighbors, that weren't prepared. But I mean, we didn't get any notice that someone was going to hit the pole. But so yeah, and thank God it was warmer out.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So these things happen from time to time, and especially now that we're going into the winter months, the snow and the ice and all that, we can lose power.
And we have customers that use their well in order to get heat in the house. They use geothermal systems. So again, those customers take precedence when they don't have water to get them back up and running. But we also keep almost everything that we would need for a residential house on our truck. So we show up, you have water within a couple hours, barring that you have something out of the ordinary.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's talk about filtration systems, whether it's on a property that has public water or well water. You can do something as basic as having those pitchers, right, to something very sophisticated and intricate.
Yes.
All right, and everything in between.
Everything in between. We can filter for pretty much any contaminants that can be in the water, whether they're aesthetic, they're health concern. We can filter for all of that. So just because you have an old well doesn't mean the water can't change as well. And when I talk about filters, I think of a customer that they had a well since the 80s and their water was great. But then you get some development in the area and that changes, puts stresses on the water table, and her water changed. So she had great crystal clear water for 25 years, and now all of a sudden it's looking like tomato soup.
Oh.
And we can take that water, run it through filters, clean it up, and give them crystal clear water again. But sometimes you need many more filters than just a simple cartridge filter on a house or a whole house filter.
So what do you do?
We first test the water. So we talk to you, get your concerns, what the issues are. If we're having those discolorations, we come out or have you drop off a sample, test the amount of iron. And once we know how much is in there, then we know what we need to take them out. And
every situation, I guess, is a little bit
Every
different.
situation is different. Even you from your neighbor can have completely different water if you're on a well. We have houses out there that their neighbor's well is 300 feet and the other neighbor is 600 or 700 feet deep. And the water's different in those situations as well.
We had a filtration system, a filter on our main coming in.
We still do.
And we had one under our kitchen sink.
Oh, this one, yeah. It was in the line. I got it, and it actually went in the line. So the faucet, so the cold water all the cold water was filtered. I mean, it was a little less pressure than the hot side, but that's okay. So I had to change a spigot on the outside of the house, and it did exactly what you said was wrong. So I turned the water back on, and it was a quarter-turn valve, and I must have turned it too fast. Now I'm sitting in the kitchen, and I hear water running. I'm like,
gushing.
Gushing. I says, is it the spigot? I go outside. The spigot's fine. I look down on the floor, and a river is starting to form in my kitchen. I go, where is this coming from? So I look underneath the sink, and the filter actually blew apart. It was in two pieces. And the water was full blast. Thank God I was home. But it was a little crappy little inline. It was actually in the line.
And I am the type of person that keeps a lot of things in my cupboards.
Well, now you have a lot of wet. Now you have a lot of wet things.
Yeah,
in your
so
cupboards.
everything was. Oh my God.
Yeah, and we have to be careful when we do shut our water mains off that we're opening them slowly. The water can deteriorate the pipes, so you don't know the condition of pipes. Some of these houses around here are over 100 years old, and you have pipes that are that old. So yeah, we want to turn our water on slowly, especially the water mains.
And I know about it because I used to work for a plumber. But you're in a rush and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but what if you got in your car and left? We would have had a flood on the first floor.
But I didn't.
You didn't, and thank God.
And what if the queen had,
Yes, okay. Then you'd call him a queen.
Then he'd be the king.
Yeah, okay. All right. So what are some practical tips for conserving well water? How common is it for a well to run dry?
It does happen, but it's not as common as you would think. When we drill a well, we typically know how much water is in the well, is coming into the well when we drill. And we inform the homeowner how much water they have. We try to size our pumps that we're not going to take more water out of the well than what's coming into the well. But as we spoke, there are seasonal changes in the water, and sometimes you get less water in the well depending on what's going on with the aquifer, and as well as time. I mean, I told you that these developments, they get bigger and bigger, and you're pulling off of the same aquifer, and Now you're putting more straws in the water than there were before, so we get less water. It does happen, but I tell people if you've used your water a certain way for years and you've never had an issue, probably you're not going to. But monitor, look for those changes in the water quality. If the water gets muddy all of a sudden, maybe turn it off and let it rest. When you're on well water, like I said, the water comes into the well as you're taking it out. So if you stress it too much, let it sit, a lot of times it does come back. But that's not to say that we don't once in a while run into a well that just doesn't have water in it, or the amount coming into the well is extremely small and it takes a long time to recover.
Right. We're talking about on-site wells. Property owners, each owner has their own well.
Yes.
Now, some neighborhoods and some areas in Lackawanna County, surrounding counties, they sometimes are on a community well. Mm-hmm. Do you service those?
We do service community wells as well. Yes.
Okay. So when there's a number of homes on the community well, could there be problems, and what types of problems do you see?
There could be problems. A lot of times those wells are designed to handle a certain amount of houses. So when you go into these developments that do have them, they know how many houses that they can have, and they usually cap the amount of houses that they can have on a well. But they run into issues just like everybody else. The pumps go bad, the tanks go bad, and it's just a matter of going out and replacing and repairing what needs to be done.
Are you finding that some of these areas with these community wells that they're being, the municipalities actually requiring them to go on to their own on-site well? We've seen it in real estate transactions.
What we're seeing a lot of times is these smaller communities are actually they'll have 10 houses on well, and the infrastructure just gets so old, they get leaks, and then the dues they're collecting are the same as what they were 20 years ago, and they just don't have the money in the systems to make the necessary repairs. And it's not only from the well standpoint, but the distribution lines. So a lot of them, the homeowners end up drilling their own well,
right, if
they're allowed to, so they have a more reliable system. They're not dealing with leaks. They're not paying into a system that isn't upkept. And we do see that a lot. And we try to educate as much as we can as to the importance of keeping a coffer ready for this, because nothing gets cheaper, as we know, and a pump that you had 15 years ago does not cost the same as it does now.
Right.
So people are just not ready for those big expenses.
Rob Fullwood, service technician with Knight's Well Drilling out of Goldsboro, also known as a water boss of the Poconos. How does someone get in touch with Knight's Well Drilling, please?
They can reach us on Facebook, on our website. They can email us, or they can give us a call at 570-842-8142.
Thank you.
Yes, we have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home that's priced to sell at 907 East Trinket Street in Dunmore for $159,000. This home, it's in move-in condition. It's got beautiful hardwood floors, first floor laundry, renovated full bath, large eat-in kitchen, great room sizes. It's got a new furnace. All of this on a flat 45 by 150 lot with a covered front porch, off-street parking, and low taxes of only $2,100 a year. That's a move-in condition, 3-bedroom, 2-bath home for only $159,000 at 907 East Trinket Street in Dunmore, and that's listed by Dan Callahan of our office.
Thank you. A 2023 homebuyer study discovered that a majority of homeowners do not understand home renovation and maintenance. They lack knowledge about basic concepts in home ownership. The study looked at America's knowledge of home buying, home building, and home renovating and maintenance. The study shows that most Americans are not aware of water heater lifespans and the material used on exterior walls. The study was prompted to see where knowledge gaps lie among homeowners and among the different generations. 25 multiple choice questions related to being a homeowner were asked. Most failed the quiz, scoring only 14 out of 25 questions correctly. The best scores, though, this is good news, were in the home buying section. So respondents answering 7 out of the 10 questions correctly. Most answering the survey understood what a pre-approval letter was, what home equity, what the current interest rate for a 30-year mortgage was, and who traditionally pays the real estate agent's commission. One of the mistakes first-time home buyers make was underestimating and not properly planning for home ownership expense. I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Disaster Blaster. When disaster strikes, Northeastern Pennsylvania trusts Disaster Blaster to make things right. From water damage like broken pipes, roof leaks, to mold problems, basement, waterproofing, radon, mitigation, and more, Disaster Blaster offers the most services in the indoor environmental industry and is always there to help people. Serving the Northeast PA area, don't hesitate to call Disaster Blaster 570-963-1123 or visit disasterblaster.com.
Speaking of that, homeownership costs, unexpected costs all the time. People get surprised. You were talking about that. We got friends of ours who bought a house, and boy, they got some unpleasant surprises when they bought that house.
Right, and you just get finished with all the closing costs and the down payment and buying furniture and appliances, and then something underground goes.
And you get a flood, and then you got to fix that, and then you got to call Disaster Blaster.
Stay with the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. We'll be right back. Are you ready to make your next move in the world of real estate? Look no further than Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate, your trusted partner in buying and selling homes. If you're a homeowner looking to sell, Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate will ensure you get the best possible price in today's competitive market. And if you're in the market to buy your dream home, Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate will help you find the perfect place to call your own.
Congratulations.
We've adopted the popular saying, an educated consumer is our best customer. That's why since 2010, we've hosted the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate Saturdays at 11 a.m., Sundays at 11:30 a.m. on 94.3 The Talker. Visit jready.com. That's JRUDDY.com or call 570-344-6724. Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate, where dreams find their address. Thanks for tuning into the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Reddy, broker, and with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor.
And we're back.
With Rob Fullwood, service technician with Knight's Well Drilling, a.k.a. the water boss of the Poconos.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. So if someone is concerned about bacteria in their water, what fix is there?
So if we do find bacteria in the water, we typically recommend a UV system. They're very effective at killing your bacteria in the water. It's a light chamber that has a UV light in it. The water passes through the chamber, kills any of the bacteria that's in the water. They do use chlorine injection. We don't typically recommend it on residential systems because it's up to the homeowner at that point to maintain the system. And you're mixing chemicals, putting it in your drinking water. UV lights are great because they're chemical free. They just rely on ultraviolet light to kill any bacteria. And again, they're very effective.
They're very effective. And how long does the system last?
So UV lights can last indefinitely. They essentially are a stainless steel cylinder that the water passes through. There's a little bit of maintenance on them, yearly maintenance. The bulb needs to be changed. Typically, your bulb life is 12 months. The bulb will stay on after that 12 months. I always tell people you'll look and you'll see the light is still on. It just means it's past its effective range. So we do recommend yearly changing of the bulbs. And another big thing that I always tell people is you can find those bulbs on online retailers, and the issue with that is you don't always know where they're coming from. If you buy a replacement,
Really? You mean I might get something from
Another country.
another country, far, far away,
we've
making junk.
when we sell bulbs or we replace the bulbs, they come right from the manufacturer. They are stamped by the manufacturer. They come through our suppliers, so we can guarantee that those bulbs are going to be effective in killing any bacteria. We've seen people that buy them online and they buy the right part number, and it actually has a part number on it, and it's an inch too long for why or wherefore. We've seen it happen before, so we recommend it.
But they save money.
They do save a couple
money.
bucks.
Yeah.
we always tell people, your drinking water, your health of your family is worth a couple extra bucks.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And how much do these systems cost?
The UV light system that we typically sell, it runs installed between $1,200 and $1,400, depending on the installation, how hard it is to install it. And then there's also other factors that we have to take into account, pre-filtration. The water has to be very clear in order to be effective with the UV light. So we might need to put a pre-filter on just to clear the water up. If you have a little cloudy water or dirt in the water, it could damage the bulb or the glass inside the filter itself.
You don't. As a precaution, could anybody put this on?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't have to necessarily find bacteria.
No, you don't
Water's
have to be
always
positive.
changing, right?
Exactly.
So,
And I have one on my house, and we tested for years, and everything was perfect, negatives for years. And when my second son came, and we tested the water, and all of a sudden we have bacteria in the water. So we threw one on. And my sister-in-law, same thing. She moved into her house. She doesn't have bacteria in the water, but it's known to be in their development. So they just put
Why
one on.
not? Yeah.
And that's what she said. I sleep better at night. I don't have to test my water every 6 months or 3 months, whatever
Right.
it is. So
good.
Yep.
Okay, so what do you have? What is there any kind of system for anybody that has low water pressure complaints?
So as long as the system is working normally, low water pressure can be a problem. But a lot of people that move from us being on city water or public water to a private well, the biggest complaint that we get is they have low water pressure. And we can use newer systems out now to help that. So the old traditional system that they've used for years, and they're very reliable, they tend to have lower water pressure, especially when you are using multiple fixtures. You're running a shower and someone flushes the toilet and you hear them yelling from upstairs.
That's fun. That's fun. We used to live in an apartment house that was great. Somebody downstairs would flush the toilet and the shower would stop.
So everything evolves and changes. And so now we have what they call constant pressure systems. We use one that is very good. It keeps your water pressure at the same pressure no matter what you're using. So we can set it at the higher limit. We can give you close to what you would get out of city water, 70 or 80 PSI, and keep it there. Where with the traditional system, it fluctuates, goes up and down as the pump turns on and off. So these constant pressure systems are good. A lot of people like them just because they don't have to worry about that low, high pressure, especially they get around the holidays and they have family over and they said people are showering and flushing the toilet and someone's getting scalded. But anyway, the constant pressure systems are a very good upgrade. We're putting on a lot of people's houses.
Are they expensive?
On an overall install, I believe it's about $1,000 difference on a new install. So, a new install, if it's $4,000 or $5,000 for a well pump system, it might be $5,000 or $6,000. So it is an upcharge, it is an upgrade.
But it sounds like it's worth it.
It's worth it for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Most people are very happy with it.
Rob Fullwood, service technician with Knight's Well Drilling out of Goldsboro, serving all of Northeast PA. How does someone get in touch with Knight's Well Drilling, please?
So they can reach out to us on Facebook. They can get us on our website and send an email if they require service, or they can give us a call, 570-842-8142.
570-842.
8142.
8142. Okay. Thank you, Rob. Pat?
Yes, we have a commercial property at 242 Main Street, Ninan, for $230,000. This building is perfect for your business needs. It has a fully renovated. It's got 3 separate offices with a new heating system, central AC, new electrical. It also has a separate conference room and a break room. This building sits on a flat 60 by 150 lot with a parking lot and a handicap ramp in the back, and the building is fully ADA compliant. Best of all is the low taxes of only $1,800 a year. That's an office building at 242 Main Street in Einan for $230,000, and that's listed by Aaron Pierce of our office.
Wishing all our listeners a very happy, healthy Thanksgiving. Don't forget to join us next Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to listen to more of the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker.